mengutuk serangan Israel terhadap rumah sakit Al-Ahli ini jelas pelanggaran terhadap hukum humaniter internasional.
Salam Elechem Bisem Yeshua Hamasiah. Salam damai sejahtera di dalam nama Tuhan Yesus Kristus untuk kita semua. Teman-teman sekalian, pada video kali ini kita akan membahas mengenai pernyataan Bapak Presiden Jokowi dalam beberapa hari yang lalu. Dia mengutuk Israel karena diduga membom rumah sakit baptis Al-Ahli yang ada di jalur Gaza. Dan teman-teman sekalian, ini tentu dijawab langsung oleh orang-orang Israel dengan bukti-bukti nyata. Bahkan juga kemarin kita sudah sempat dengarkan tentang CCTV yang menyiarkan ataupun ada live streaming yang dilakukan oleh Al-Jazeera, di mana milik live streaming itu adalah Arab Saudi sendiri, teman-teman sekalian, dan memberikan bukti bahwa ternyata itu rudal dari Hamas yang mengenai rumah sakit, ya. Oleh karenanya teman-teman sekalian, mari kita menyimak terlebih dahulu apa yang disampaikan oleh Bapak Presiden Jokowi dan juga jawaban langsung dari orang Israel berikut ini.
Mengutuk serangan Israel terhadap rumah sakit Al-Ahli ini jelas pelanggaran terhadap hukum humaniter internasional.
Nah, teman-teman sekalian, itulah pernyataan daripada Bapak Presiden Joko Widodo. Dan teman-teman sekalian, tentu saya tidak sepakat ya dengan apa yang dilakukan, yang disampaikan oleh Bapak Presiden. Kenapa? Karena menurut saya ini terlalu terburu-buru untuk menyimpulkan, hanya karena ada berita-berita yang disiarkan oleh kandurun-kandurun, teman-teman sekalian. Karena pada kenyataannya, apa yang dikira, apa yang diklaim, apa yang dituduhkan kepada Israel, semuanya tidak benar. Dan lagi pula, kalau kita melihat peristiwa di 7 Oktober yang lalu, Indonesia tidak bersuara sama sekali terhadap tindakan Hamas yang merupakan teroris ya di wilayah Palestina. Dan mereka menyerang Israel dengan sadis, warga sipil ya dibunuh, bahkan disiksa, teman-teman sekalian. Justru Indonesia memberkati. Indonesia tidak mengutuk, memuji, memuliakan, bahkan salut terhadap apa yang dilakukan oleh Hamas kepada Israel. Seperti mantan wakil presiden ya Pak Yusuf Kala. Nah, teman-teman sekalian, bagaimana tanggapan daripada Israel? Mari kita langsung saja untuk dengarkan berikut ini.
The trajectory analysis from the barrage of rockets confirms that the rockets were fired close proximity to the hospital. In addition, there are 2 independent videos which show the failure of the rocket launch and the continuation of rocket flight towards the ground within the Gaza Strip, falling in the hospital compound. Third, we have intelligence, some that will be shared here, of communication between terrorists talking about rockets misfiring. The terrorists realized that the rocket has misfired and made specific reference to the Al-Hadi Al-Ma'adani hospital. I would want to let everybody hear the conversation, and I will do the translation in English. I'm telling you, this is the first time that we see missile like this falling, and so that's why we are saying it belongs to the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. What? They are saying it belongs to the PGI. It's from us? It looks like it. Who says this? They are saying the shrapnel from the missile is local shrapnel, and not like Israeli shrapnel. What are you saying, Abu Ammar? But God bless, it couldn't have been found another place, not the hospital, to explode? Never never mind. Yes, Abu Aji. They shot it from the cemetery behind the hospital. What? They shot it coming from the cemetery behind the Mahadani hospital, and it misfired and fell on them. There's a cemetery behind it? Yes, Al Mahadani is exactly in the compound. Where is it when you enter the compound? You first enter the compound and don't go towards the city. It's on the right side of Al Mahadani hospital. Yes, I know it. We have cross-checked, intercept with other intelligence sources to confirm this accuracy. It is common for rockets that are fired to Israel to land short and fall inside Gaza. These rockets fall short of Israel and have caused Palestinian casualties. During this war, we have counted approximately 450 rockets that misfired and fell inside Gaza. Palestinian civilians pay the price. I want to show you the footage. These are failed launches during this war, until now. These are all failed launches that fell inside the Gaza Strip, and some of them, of course, created casualties among the Palestinians themselves.
Sekali lagi, bukti penting tentang rumah sakit Gaza.
I want to bring in CNN military analyst, retired Lieutenant General Mark Hertling here. General, look, we have some video here, and I want you to just take a look at this. This is some footage that seems to show a rocket going up here, and then something happens that's pretty catastrophic. When you see this, what do you see?
I see a flame out of a rocket. And we've been talking about this all day, and it's a result of what happened yesterday. But when you see that rocket going forward, this happens a lot with these kind of rockets that are supplied by Iran, Abi. It is a rocket motor that doesn't work. It gets a certain distance, and then it just flames out. And a rocket has a trajectory of a brick once it doesn't have a force behind it, so it immediately drops. So you see it right
This is a slow motion version
there,
of that video.
flame out.
Yeah.
So it loses its rocket motor, and then it just drops down. But what you also have when that happens is the fuel that's part of the rocket that hasn't burned. So when it hits the ground, we'll see next.
Here's the
explosion.
video of an explosion from a viewpoint from the ground.
Yeah. Now this isn't a very big piece of ordnance. It's a relatively small ordnance. So the actual explosive isn't that big. But what is big is the fuel that it hasn't used. That caused a lot of cars in that parking lot to burn. We see the after effects of that. We see a very small crater. If it had been a crater
Let's
from
actually take a look at what
Yeah.
you're discussing here. I'm going to just break this down a little bit more for folks. This, what I'm showing you here, this is, to be clear, provided by the IDF. This shows what looks like satellite imagery of the area where this rocket may have come down, right? This is the explosion site. They're saying that if you look over here, this is what typically you would see if there was an IDF strike, even as large as 19 meters, a much larger crater. It doesn't seem like we see that here. And we also have some before and after images here. This is the hospital, the Al-Ali hospital. This is the explosion site in this area here. And here it is after.
Yeah.
So you were just discussing the size of the crater. Some of the images are not super clear
No.
whether there was a crater or not. But when you look at this is up close at the cars and the site of the fire. What do you see?
Well, what I saw earlier today was a photo of a very small crater about right there. What you see in this area are a lot of burned cars. What you see over here are cars that are not burned. What you see across at this building, if you had a picture of the building, which I think we do, no, I'm sorry.
We don't have an up close of the building, but we do have these.
What we do see is pock marks on the side of the
you
building.
can look at this video here, and it
Well,
shows some of
and
the
it will show up
aftermath
here.
on
You
the
see the burned
buildings.
car, but as the camera scans over here, you'll see cars that aren't burned.
Yeah.
Very close. So it had an effect of the explosive capability of a rocket, which is relatively small, but a lot of fuel blowing up after it that didn't burn off the rocket motor. So this is evidence of Certainly not a bomb that would come off of an aircraft. You see the pock marks, the blown out windows, but not a whole lot else. I mean, there's not a whole lot of damages to the building. Now, the doctors inside of the building said that there were patients that were injured. That could have been from the blast, glass flying inside of the building, but it certainly wasn't a strike on the hospital itself.
And just briefly, if you were to have seen a strike, a true strike coming from Israel, I want to also, just as I'm saying this, show you, this is an image that shows, according to the IDF, the trajectory of this rocket. And it comes from somewhere inside of northern Gaza, and it goes this direction. It goes east.
What you have here is something called a point of origin.
Yeah.
That's where the rocket was fired from, right where that red dot is. You see multiple tracers coming off of those. Those are the different rockets that come out of that rocket pod. The one that came out right here came out over the hospital, and I believe that was the one that lost its engine and fell on close to the hospital, not on the hospital. So this is part of the proof that the Israeli Defense Forces gave. They said, hey, here, this is something called a Q-36 radar. They use these radars to connect with the Iron Dome to shoot down rockets. So when you see all these coming off of a missile site and one dropping over the top of a hospital, you can see where it was truthfully an accident, a missile that didn't go through to its final mission.
Yeah, and as you pointed out many times, these Iranian-provided missiles, they tend to do that. General Mark Herdling, thank you very much.
Bahkan teman-teman sekalian, kalau kita lihat bukan hanya penjelasan dari Israel sendiri mengenai rudal yang mengenai rumah sakit baptis Al-Ahli ini, tetapi juga dari live streaming yang dilakukan oleh Arab Saudi. Dan teman-teman sekalian, siaran ini mari kita langsung saja dengarkan bersama-sama berikut ini.
On the 17th of October 2023, hundreds of Palestinians were killed when the Al-Ahli Arab Hospital in Gaza was bombed. Officials in Gaza blame the blast on an Israeli airstrike. The Israeli army denies responsibility and claims the attack was due to a failed rocket launch by the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. They say they used Al Jazeera footage to allegedly confirm these claims.
But you're asking me for proof? You don't need to get proof from me. All you need to do is switch over to Al Jazeera, who broadcasted it live, and you can actually see. I got a screen caption just for you to see. This is Al Jazeera from last night.
Our digital investigations team, SANAD, decided to investigate these claims and conducted an in-depth analysis of this Al Jazeera video, along with several other videos from multiple sources, and established a detailed second-by-second timeline of the events. By analyzing Al Jazeera's live stream starting at 1845, the team was able to identify 4 Israeli airstrikes on Gaza, targeting the area near the hospital, starting at 1854-28, then 1855-03, then 1857-42, and then 1858-04. That's military time for just before 7 p.m. local. The team cross-referenced this video with another, captured by a camera, situated south of Tel Aviv, showing a wide view of the Gaza Strip. That video shows a series of rocket launches from Gaza. That video clearly shows how the Iron Dome intercepted these rockets. Going back to the Al Jazeera live feed at 1859-35, we can see a single rocket launched from Gaza. This is the rocket in question. This rocket can also be seen on the Israeli video. 15 seconds later, Al Jazeera's live feed shows that the same rocket was intercepted at exactly 18:59:50. This interception has the same afterglow seen in previous interceptions. A closer look at the video captured by the Al Jazeera live feed shows the rocket being completely destroyed and broken apart in the sky. According to all feeds and videos analyzed, this rocket was intercepted and was the last one launched from Gaza before the bombing of the hospital. 5 seconds after that interception, An explosion in Gaza can be seen, followed 2 seconds later by a much larger explosion. This is the strike that hit Al-Ahli Arab Hospital. As a result, Al Jazeera Digital Investigations team found no grounds to the Israeli army claim that the strike on the Al-Ahli Arab Hospital in Gaza was caused by a failed rocket launch.
Oke, teman-teman sekalian, itulah bukti CCTV dan juga live streaming ya. Dan ini bukan pembelaan dari orang Israel saja, tapi ini adalah live streaming yang sedang melangsungkan video ya, detik-detik rumah sakit baptis Al-Ahli ya dibom atau kena bom. Dan ini jelas teman-teman sekalian bukan kesalahan daripada orang Israel. Sekalipun media-media daripada Kandrun seperti Yusuf PI dan juga beberapa ya yang mengatasnamakan keadilan ya, mereka live, mereka beritakan secara seadil-adilnya, tapi tetap saja memojokkan Israel dan mereka tidak punya bukti yang terlalu valid ya untuk menuduh Israel. Dan itu sudah tersebar luas teman-teman sekalian ya di negara kita. Dan satu hal dalam Alkitab mengatakan dalam Kejadian pasal 27 ayat 29 ini mengenai Israel, yaitu Yakub. Dan tentunya Israel itu adalah anak-anak daripada Yakub. Ada 12. Kita lihat apa yang dikatakan oleh firman Tuhan dalam Kejadian 27 ayat 29. Bangsa-bangsa akan takluk kepadamu dan suku-suku bangsa akan sujud kepadamu. Jadilah Tuhan atas saudara-saudaramu dan anak-anak ibumu akan sujud kepadamu. Siapa yang mengutuk engkau terkutuklah ia, dan siapa yang memberkati engkau diberkatilah ia. Jadi teman-teman sekalian, secara pribadi sebagai tokoh agama Kristen tidak ya mau negara kita, negara yang kita kasihi, negara yang kita cintai, kita banggakan, yaitu Indonesia, menjadi terkutuk hanya karena kita salah sikap, salah tindakan seperti dilakukan oleh Bapak Presiden. Jadi saya berharap teman-teman sekalian, kita sebagai anak-anak Tuhan berdoa supaya kesalahpahaman ini dan juga kata-kata kutukan yang telah dilontarkan kepada Israel dari Republik Indonesia tidak menimpa negara kita. Kita doakan bersama-sama kiranya Tuhan memaklumi hal itu. Karena Israel adalah biji mata Tuhan, mereka bangsa pilihan. Bahkan ya Kiai Haji Buya Sakur mengatakan bahwa Israel adalah umat pilihan Allah dan mereka itu adalah bangsa yang super. Ya, super sekali. Bahkan segala teknologi, internet dan macam-macam teman-teman sekalian, semuanya itu adalah hasil otak daripada orang-orang Israel. Ya, ketika kita memberkati Israel, kita diberkati, dan ketika kita mengutuk Israel, kita menjadi terkutuk. Oleh karena itu teman-teman sekalian, sekian video kali ini, biarlah kita dicerdaskan oleh firman Tuhan yang sudah kita dengarkan bersama. Terima kasih, saya Arif Gulo undur diri. Sampai ketemu di video berikutnya. Salam.